Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm testing out the Panasonic's autofocus system. Now you might say, Mido, you have this camera, the LUMIX G9, for about a year now, and this is the first time we're actually talking about autofocus because everybody knows autofocus on LUMIX cameras is just awful. And I'm not talking about that it's not accurate or it's not fast enough or that the face tracking doesn't work. Everything is pretty much top of the line, rivals any Canon or any Sony camera out there. It's just, actually it's too accurate. So today I'm going to test out and see if I can give the autofocus another chance. So if you guys watched some of my earlier videos, I was always using the Leica 12 to 60mm lens, which is this one that I have right here, and I was always using face tracking. Now, the focusing always worked pretty well. The only issue is only when I turn away and just start waving my hands in front of my face. That's when the camera usually kind of loses me, but it gets the focus back correctly on my eyes. The problem is that if I'm not completely still, like right like this, you can see that the background is always coming in and out of focus. If I just start moving slightly, it's constantly trying to acquire the focus, even though it's tracking my eyes really accurately, and the focus mechanism is one of the fastest in the world. That's what Panasonic actually advertises. They have the fastest focus acquiring mechanisms out there. The problem is that every time the focus track moves just a little bit, the camera starts to acquire the focus. So my thoughts would be, just give a little bit more of a buffer between where the focus tracking point is and when the focus actually starts to reacquire my face or my eye or just the subject. So that's like the biggest issue of a Panasonic focusing system. Now I just know there's a photo here that I'm gonna take. I just need to find a specific place, a specific subject as I'm walking here. Now it's starting to rain, so it's kind of a nice day for photography, especially in the forest, because the colors really start to come out, and you have this white cloud lighting. I think this just might work. The roots down here leading towards that little orange tree which is standing or growing underneath this big tree, and I like the green moss. It's gonna give that kind of soft feeling. I'm also enjoying the colors, so the orange green, we're gonna make it reddish, a little bit more green combination, strong green and a little bit more red leaves. This is gonna be a nice color contrast, and I think if I take a kind of a more wide angle shot with the Leica 12 to 60mm and just focus stack everything, I'm gonna have everything in focus and just work with the colors to bring the contrast, maybe a little bit of a vignette, and just try to make the image softer. Soft forest photos are always just so nice. So yeah, I think this is gonna be like the photo of today. And this is what you guys usually see when you watch my talking head or vlogging videos. This is the Laowa 7.5mm f2 lens. It's 15mm full frame equivalent compared to the 24 full frame equivalent which I had before. And this is a manual lens and it's about half a meter away. So if I just set the focus to half a meter, I know I'm in focus regardless of how much I move, regardless of how much I do this. My face is always going to be in focus because it's always the same distance. And I really enjoy using this lens because it's wide, it gives that kind of more dynamic feel to the whole vlogging thing. Now the biggest issue I have is whenever I'm in the scene and I'm trying to explain to you guys what I'm taking a photo of, and I just start moving around this way, I cannot actually use manual focus because you guys are just too far away, which means that only if I'm about this far away I can actually set the manual focus, and that's if I'm at 24mm. If for instance I go to 36 or 40mm, now this would be kind of the style I would go for, but it's like too far away for manual focus, so there's just no way I can actually adjust focus with this focal length manually. I would need a separate person, and I'm a one-man band, so that's kind of an issue every time I go out. So this is why I kind of prefer to use the Laowa 7.5mm f2 lens, because I'm just not worried, just constantly adjusting the exposure. Because I'm not worried, should I use the autofocus or not. Now, today, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That's an issue if I spend out here, you know, some time, maybe an hour or two, and I take beautiful shots and explain everything really nicely and really awesomely. I come home and then the footage is out of focus. You know, it happens so many times, and I always, of course, blame the camera. So yeah, my recipe would be just go with manual focus. I think it works really well. And at 24mm full frame equivalent, you can easily adjust the manual focus ring. Now, in professional cinematography, there's always a person who's focus pulling the focus. There's almost never an autofocus feature actually used for any sort of blockbuster movie, because imagine if you have a scene where things just start to blow up and everything starts to tear down. If the camera screws up the autofocus, that's like a really big issue. Now, if you have a person who's really trained in operating the focus, like separate from the cameraman, there's much greater chance of the focus actually being acquired correctly. So in professional work, they almost never use autofocus. So what do you guys think? Should I use this focal length more? Should I use autofocus with my Lumix Panasonic G9 camera? Does the pulsing background bother you? Do you guys even notice the pulsing background, or is it just in my head, or just when I edit videos I actually take a closer look at the footage? I have no idea. I'm really struggling with this. So let me know in the comment sections below what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.